Hey everybody, got another 1v1 here for you. On the German side we got StephennJF and on the Russians we got Pinky. Easy names there to remember, pretty good. We're playing Pripyat Winter, which means that the points are pretty much in the middle, and I really like this map. I think it's a fantastic little map to watch and play. So here we go. In the east side of the map we have StephennJF playing as the Germans. He's going to build his first building. On the west side of the map, playing in the red, we have Pinky playing Soviet. Quite an interesting start here. We have, I assume, conscripts coming out. Yeah, no, we had engineer unit coming out. I apologise. Grenadiers coming out for the Germans as their first building has just been built. Engineers taking this middle sector here. Is not going to be used for it at this moment in time, but it will eventually be connected up to the rest of the territory. Pioneers are moving north to capture their first sector. I'm thinking the Grenadiers will move to the west, maybe even southwest, towards the ammunition points and the fuel depot. Quite an interesting play here by Pinky, moving those engineers forward towards this fuel point, getting it very quickly and getting some fuel on the board. That's pretty decent. Grenadiers have decided to go middle, it looks like, rather than to the left south flank, as the Pioneers move up. More cons coming into play, and the second point goes down for the Germans. They will capture this repair point. I wouldn't waste my time with this just now because you haven't really got anything to use with this, so it seems a bit of a waste of time, that, I'm afraid. Grenadiers are going to move in towards this first star, and more Grenadiers on the field will take this close point to the base. Russians are capturing this ammunition sector after they've finally got this fuel sector, which is quite a big deal for the Russians because it means they get a nice little spot of fuel, which is what they may need if they plan to go for tanks later on. First star goes down for the Germans, and I imagine they're going to move straight up the middle, see if they can get this outpost or watchtower. Ammo goes down as another one is going down as well, and cons are going to move up towards this fuel. I think they'll go for the fuel, or they'll sit on the ammunition. I think they'll go for the fuel. Watchtower going down for the Germans, and they have a lead, a small lead, but they are going to take this next star as the Russians really start to push towards this German territory as the cons take this fuel depot. This fuel depot, or cache should I say, is an interesting one to take. It won't be of any use to Pinky unless he actually connects his territory up, but at the moment looks like the Russians are pushing from the south. Sniper comes into play for the Germans. The sniper looks like he might just sit and see if he can take out some of these engineers as the Grenadiers come in and take this fuel sector back from the Russians. Another set of cons into play as they take their first point to the north, and another set of cons in as well, so it means they are, it's looking like they are going to go infantry, quite a heavy infantry at the moment, with their first building's not even down yet, so they've only got cons really to play with. Pioneers take this bottom sector as there's a con squad just gone all the way around the other side of the map and has gone to move in to try and take this point. This point will cut off all the territory if it's not careful, but I don't think he's going to have time to take it because there's snipers and there's Grenadiers coming in to take them out. The Russians will use an URA and move towards the North Star. The stars are in the favour of Stefan at the moment. I am sorry, that was a terrible kind of pun, in the sense that it's a saying, an English saying anyway. I don't know if it's any other countries are watching. Is that saying something that you may say in your country? The stars are in your favour. It's kind of like a... It's like horoscopes. It doesn't mean a damn thing. Anyway, let's get back to the action. Enough of my frivolous jibes. Germans are finally taking back this southern sector that they lost. It looks like they're not actually bothering with the south at all. They are literally going to try and take the north areas and kind of create their own little islands, as it were. But with the amount of cons that are heading up towards that fuel sector, it's going to be difficult with a sniper now engaging this infantry. Now, on the normal pre-pack map, this bridge is actually destroyed, but in this map, obviously, it is created, or it is, in fact, not destroyed. Would be the best way to describe it. Anyway, this right star is going down for the Germans. It's quite strange that they haven't actually taken this left star yet, which is it's really strange sometimes how you will forget and you'll not notice certain things happening. As an HMG engages this engineer squad, it may not do enough damage though. Actually, yeah, it will. It'll pin them and stop the capture. Very well played there by the German HMG. Grenadiers are going to push back some of these cons, and they're going to finally be able to take this ammunition, this fuel area, and they'll also try and push towards this ammunition sector, and they will effectively seal off this side of the map. So at this point, once these captures go down, the Germans will be in a decent position because they've got 2 of the stars. They'll also be in a very decent position because they also have half of the map. Now, I think if you look at how many points there are on the map, we are even in terms of territory, except that the Russians have still not got their star, which is very strange indeed. We've got the 2 buildings now come down, the Tank Convoy Battalion and the Command. I'll just quickly check which ones are getting what. Nothing's coming up for either just yet, which is a shame really. Panzer Grenadiers coming out for the Germans, and looks like the infantry are going to start to move out again, probably towards this star. I'd hope they'd go for the star, because at the moment they're losing 2 points every 5 seconds. Panzer Grenadiers onto the field. I'm assuming they will be given their Panzerschrecks on the straight away, unless a half track or something comes into play. But maybe not. Maybe he's just going to save and see what comes out for the Russians. Now the Russians, I'd imagine, are probably going to try and get some tanks out, because at the moment the Germans have pretty much everything covered so far. They get their first command point, and a doctrine goes down, although for some reason there's a bug and I can't see the doctrine that they've chosen. Obviously Pinky has chosen the infantry one, which allows for guards rifles and hit the dirt, which is quite a useful little ploy for the infantry. And here is what I thought was going to happen, and that is exactly what's happened. T-34's come out, and this could spell a little bit of trouble for the Germans, because at the moment, unless Panzerschrecks come into play for the Germans, they have nothing to counter this tank. So I'd imagine this tank is going to move in towards the middle and finally, I hope, take this first point, because it would seem like a waste at the moment. I mean, yes, they don't have any problem in terms of losing more points because this point has not been taken by the Germans, but you'd at least want that if you want to stop the opponent's points when coming to neutralise some of these stars. So it would seem interesting to me why that point has not been taken by the Russians, as the Germans have decided to fall back for those Grenadiers, and the Panzer Grenadiers are out of territory, so they cannot get those Panzerschrecks, and the T-34 is going to come in here and it's just going to help out a little bit as this point finally is in place for the Russians. It's not going to stop the flow of points, but it is going to help when it comes to taking the next couple of points from the Germans. At the moment, I'm trying to work out what the Russians are going to do here. I mean, they may wait for the blizzard to finish and then really just plough ahead, or they may just send this T-34 right across the ice, which is dangerous, especially if a explosive hits the ice while he's going across. Panzerschrecks come in from the Panzer Grenadiers, which is a good thing to see. A little engagement here between cons and pioneers or grenadiers by the HMGs, very useful. And you're going to need to certainly focus on this T-34 before they take too much damage. And the Germans have pushed that tank back very nicely. Another hit from the Panzer Grenadiers is quite useful there. That nearly took out the ice, which would have been very, very good for the Germans to knock out that tank. Pack 40 comes into play here, and that's going to be dangerous for the T-34 if it doesn't move right this second. If it doesn't move, it may lose this tank. Oh no, but it's out of range now, and the rifles are engaged. You see, this watchtower gives the view, even despite there being a blizzard, it gives side range, which means this Pack 40 can engage. What I'd put is get a mortar on there as well. A mortar, stick a mortar in there, and that would be really good for the Germans. So the points are still getting thrown down here by the Germans. The Germans have held these 2 points really nicely, and there's not been anything to really stop the Germans at the moment. Even this tank has not been able to do enough to stop, as the Germans are going to plant some mines here, it would seem. As the Russians are pushing from the south to take this close sector towards the German base, and I imagine the Germans are going to push out now with a grenadier unit and a sniper, which can never be a good trade here. I'd have thought that will have to be pushed back. The con squad are not going to have a fun time here against the sniper in particular. Grenadier unit is going to fall back here after being engaged by that T-34, and the con squad have done what I thought they would do. As soon as they realised that they couldn't really take that point, they would kind of fall back. Half track on the field, and we see them just take up a position here. No one on the middle point here, which is quite strange for the Germans. I mean, they've got pioneers, but I mean, that's not going to do very good here. Sniper has retaken this location, and the Grenadiers are going to move out. T-34 is going to move towards this ammunition sector. Half track is going to meet it, but there's nothing to stop this T-34 from engaging. It might be worth the T-34 using the incendiary bullets against it. It may do a little bit of damage. That's what I'd choose when we spend the 15 points, but they're going to lose fundamentally, and the Panzer Grenadiers haven't got their Panzerschrecks, so it means that they're going to have to fall back unless the Panzer Grenadiers that have the Panzerschrecks, which are right back here, they're not going to be able to engage this tank until it's disappeared, unfortunately. Half track is going to come into play again, but that's not going to be able to do anything against this tank, and this tank is going to hit. We've got a second tank on the field. The T-34 is going to come into the south, and it could go all the way. At the moment, there's nothing to stop it going straight into that base. Grenadiers will be able to hit with a Panzerfaust, but unless it gets a hit on a fuel point and blows the tank up, it won't do any damage at all, except to take out the engine. So, Pack 40's moved up here. It'll do a little bit of damage to that infantry, but unfortunately it needs to do the damage to that T-34 or it won't be useful at all. T-34 is going to turn back and it's going to head across the river again. We've got still 2 German points that are sitting here doing considerable damage to the points total of the Russians. The Russians have still got their 1 star, but they are losing this battle and they need to get these back. Even though the Russians are doing really well territory-wise, they are pushing and pushing at the moment. Although Phase 2's gone down, I'd imagine that they're going to think about putting the support corps up, at least, if not the Panzer. Engagement here. Pack 30 is taking some damage from the left side. T-34 seems to just go straight through the lines. Pack 40 has been destroyed, unfortunately. But the Pack 40 is going to be retaken by the German grenadiers, and they've dropped their MG42. That might be a little bit of a waste of 60 munitions there, unless they can be picked up by another squad. The Russians are really starting to put the Germans under a lot of pressure. Con squad is going to take this sector here below the middle. Rifles are going straight into the territory. T-34's got the ability that it can basically button down and capture sectors, which it's doing. It's going to cut off this middle sector completely. And at the moment, the Germans only have 1 unit that can do any serious damage, which is the Panzer Grenadiers, and the Pack 30, unless it gets into a decent position, is not going to be able to do much either. And at the moment, there's 2 T-34s in play, and a 3rd one just coming in, which is bad news for the Germans. The Germans are seriously in some trouble here. The problem is that Stephen has got a lead. He's got a 300-point lead, and the way things are going, this could be quite a long map, because the Russians are eventually going to take some of these stars, and these stars are going to really be able to be held because the Russians' ability to move and maneuver with these T-34s. Very interesting that the Germans have not thought about bringing some panzers of their own, unless they are on the tank doctrine, which I can't see, unfortunately, because there's some kind of bug. My thought is that the Tiger tank doctrine is going to come out. He's going to save enough. He only needs another 40 fuel, I think, or 30 fuel to get the Tiger tank in. When that comes, it will give them a little manoeuvre, but before then, they may lose a lot of this sector. A lot of the advantage may be gone by the time the Tiger tank in. So we'll have to wait and see. We've spent another 20. Oh no, support armor course coming in now, so it must mean that he's already kind of thought that he needs to bring tanks. It's a shame that it's not taken a bit sooner, to be honest. T-34 is sitting here doing nothing at the moment. This other T-34 is doing some serious damage against this Grenadier squad, but it's also taking hits from this Pack 40, and that Pack 40 could do... It's just gone out of range. Pack 40, although it's giving it some decent hits, T-34 is still operational. They'll do some serious damage with those bundle grenades. They're taking damage, and they're also suffering from the cold, which means that they are going to perish quite quickly if they're not careful. Pack 40 doing another hit onto the bridge, but I think just missed the tank and was able to but the mine that was placed earlier on has just almost disabled this T-34 completely. What a great little placement that was, and the tank didn't even see it. Brilliant. Now that was brilliant. Okay, T-34 to the north is doing some serious damage as the 2nd point goes down. So the shift has happened. The stars have aligned in a different way. I'm sorry for the star puns. I'll do the best to avoid them. And the Russians have started to get some points back on the board, or take points on the Germans. The T-34 coming into play here. That's put 4 on the board, even though one is absolutely effed up would be the best way to describe it. These pioneers are these engineers are dying, unfortunately, because they're out in the cold. And this middle watchtower is going to be taken again, and the first tank comes onto the field for the Germans, the Panzer IV. I'd imagine that it's going to get the MG upgrade. I'd give it the MG upgrade if I had the choice. That is not being done just yet. Very useful little Panzer here. It can start doing some damage against this northerly area, which is being taken by the Russians. Apologies for me scooting around with my mouse. Engineers there with minesweeping ability should really have got more people with them. T-34 is close here to the base. That Panzer IV may want to come back and see if it can take some damage. Give this T-34 some damage. It's just run out of range as the Panzer Grenadiers also engage that T-34 as this middle star, or this northern star, is taken. T-34 is going to come back and start to engage. Pack 40 is in the wrong direction. The other fight is going on to the side of the base of the Germans. The Germans is going to pursue that. This T-34 has got nothing to stop it. As this Pack 40 goes down, the Panzer Schreck goes down, or the Panzer Faust goes down. These Panzer generally going to be as total Panzer Schreck ability, and they are going to lose, unfortunately, this battle. T-34 has taken a couple of hits, but it seems to have got away from the Panzer IV, and the Germans are in a little trouble here. They're losing a lot of people. A lot of men have lost another half track. They are losing sectors left, right and centre, and at the moment the Russians, you have to say, have got a bit of an advantage when it comes to manpower. This Panzer IV is going to do a little bit of damage towards these tanks. Needs to be brought in a second, and here's another one coming today. Sorry, I've been moving around with the, but I'm so busy trying to get around. So this T-34 on the bridge, it's taken some hits, but it's not really in any worrying state at the moment, because this Panzer IV has taken some hits as well. The Russian Pinky has stolen the Pack 40 from the Germans, and the two Panzer IVs are now in position here to try and defend, at least defend, if not move forward. This top star is going down for the Germans, and they're going to start to take points. It's damage, as it were. But the Germans are reclaiming some of their territory that they've lost, because the focus is now into the middle. We still have, what, 4 T-34s on the field, 5 T-34s on the field, sorry. And although one's almost completely out of action, the Germans only have 2 Panzer IVs, and I'm not sure that 5 T-34s against 2 Panzer IVs and a Pack 40 on the Russian side. And these rifles as well, which do a little bit of tank damage. This could be a bad state of affairs to be in for the Germans, even though they are in a bit of a lead at this point in time. They do have, unfortunately, a disadvantage here. Grenadiers are right into the mixture here is a really well placed as the 100 grenade goes in and takes out a lot of these bomb squads and rifle squads. 2 T-32 Panzers here, the Panzer IV there is going to go down, absolutely, and this other Panzer IV is in serious trouble here as it takes some more hits from these 2 T-34s. Unfortunately, the T-34s are on top here. I don't think there's any way that this Panzer IV can get out of this place alive, because it's basically getting smashed by 5 T-34s. I don't think the Germans have enough, even though they do lose, the Russians do lose one. The but unfortunately I sense that Panzer IV may be captured right about now and be used against the team that is the Germans. Interesting. It's just StephennJF needs to reassess here. He's got a lead. He's got time to get some resources together and think about pushing forward. Really does need to think about bringing in some more stuff. Another Pack 40 comes into play. We've got quite a bit of infantry. We've got a mortar team and an MG team plus a Panzer Grenadier team. 2 Panzer Grenadier teams. So they're going to start to move out, I'd imagine, quite soon. They may wait for the blizzard to go away. Mortar half-track, I think, was just... No, it wasn't. I'm sorry, I thought they'd brung one in, but they haven't. They've just obviously got more things back. Artillery, though. Wise decision, I think, that. Wise decision indeed, because it can cover that middle ground from here, I'd imagine. I'm not exactly 100% sure of the distance. Yeah, I think it'll be fine. I really do think it'll be fine. T-34s are moving to the south here. It's going to reclaim some of the territory of this German Grenadier squad, which must be feeling pretty crap at the moment, considering it's completely surrounded by Russian tanks. As quite a bit of infantry moves into this middle star, or this middle right star, as Panzer Grenadiers are, sorry, the engineers for the Russians are repairing this tank. But they better take this tank very soon, because this Panzer Grenadier team and an HMG team need to get into position here, and by the Russians. In all honesty, that's really great play by the Grenadiers there. Pack 40 and the 2 Panzer Grenadiers have taken out a T-34 and nearly destroyed a second. I honestly thought that may be curtains for the Germans. The artillery and the Panzer Grenadiers have got another hit on that tank, and that's really good play by the Germans, setting up a little bit of an ambush, and that artillery could come into play quite nicely here for the Russians, for the Germans, sorry. Very nice indeed. So the Russians are finally taking this 3rd star away from the Germans. Mortars are going down, so it's doing a little bit of damage there, but my thoughts here is that the Germans really need to start saving some of their fuel up, which they've done quite nicely. A little bit more manpower, and they will be able to bring in another Panzer IV, is what they need. They definitely need another Panzer IV. We've got a aeroplane coming in here for the Soviets, a strafing run, and that does some serious damage to those Panzer Grenadiers. Both Unfortunately for the Russians, their own plane just decided to do a little bit of damage to those rifles. But the artillery is firing again. That little seriously good damage to that artillery piece. Pack 40 is also doing a little bit of damage. Mortar's doing some really nice work there. The rifles is going to have to move back. It's not going to be able to live there. Oh, in fact, it doesn't get a chance to live because it gets absolutely smashed by that artillery as this point starts to get taken by the Germans. The Russians, though, have control of a lot of the map. A lot of the map indeed, as this Panzer IV has been stolen by the Russians, and they will engage this Grenadier unit who will retreat. So on the field at the moment for the Russians, we have 5 tanks, 4 of which are T-34s, and that 5th tank, which is the Panzer IV, which was stolen. We have 2 infantry units, 1 con, 1 rifles, and 2 engineering units. Tanks are moving in though to play. and we're going to get engaged by that Pack 40. But that Pack 40 is surely not going to last very much longer if it doesn't get some infantry support, which is slowly being moved out by some of the Panzer IV comes into play. I thought it was about time this they'd get some more Panzers in place, and the Panzer IV comes in, and it will sit and wait for this tank to come over the bridge, but it won't do just yet. Where's that going down? So the artillery is sitting in the middle sector now. Maybe try and take some of this ice out as well, which gives the planes come in there and it's doing a little bit of damage. A little bit of damage at all. And the two Panzer Grenadier units may struggle here. They take some serious they take some serious hits there, and they are forced to run away again. How unlucky are those Grenadiers? The second time they were moved into that spot, they mowed down again. And the Pack 40's gone. The rifle's going to move in to take this Pack 40. They'll want it, and they'll want to move it away. Yes, they will. I think that's what they'll plan to do. Artillery is going down onto this ice. It's not doing too much damage, but it is forcing the Russians to use land. Although that rifle's good, maybe just be careful there. Is taking a little bit of hits there, but it's going to run away, it's going to be stolen. That middle sector, the star has been neutralised, which means that the Germans are losing more and more points here. They're losing 2 points every 5 seconds, and at the moment there's nothing that the Germans can do about it, because every time they move in one direction they are forced to move back because of the fact that the Russians have like 5 tanks. I can't imagine what next is going to happen for the Russians. All I can think of is a tank move to their base. I really think they may do that with the tanks. They've got enough of them. Put them all together and literally rush the base. Take out this artillery piece. Another tank comes into play for the Russians. Another T-34. I honestly think if they just put all their tanks together in one place and then literally attack move into the German base, this game could be over. Fortunately though, for the Germans, the game is not over, and they're going to do their best to fight for it. But the Grenadiers have taken another couple of losses, and they've only just got back into the field. They do, however, try and take out some of these enemies that are around, which is not going to happen just yet. The rifles, really, so the Panzer in this middle area is going to take some hits here. This T-34 is still doing some serious damage against these. Serious damage. Grenadiers, mortar team is freezing to death. That's not very fun for them. And Grenadiers team is going to stop this push by the engineers, it would seem. Or will it seem? Yeah, it'll do a little bit of damage. Panzer's going to have to fall back a little bit. And Grenadiers are suffering from cold. They've got to be very careful not to actually get dead there. And 2 T-34s are in position to try and take this net last star, which is a very interesting move here to really choke the Germans out of their points. T-34s caught though in an unfortunate situation where it's knocking down the sector. Neutralised it, which is pretty good, but that Panzer got a couple of shots on that T-34 when it shouldn't really have been allowed to do so, in all honesty. So, at the moment, the Germans are pretty much surrounded by tanks, which you can't honestly say that's happened very much when it comes to Germany in World War II. Normally, it's pretty much the other way around. And with the fact that the Russians have 3, 4, 5, 6 tanks in the field, I can't honestly think where the Germans can go from here. They bring another Panzer IV into play, but really, unless the Russians decide that they want to kind of walk right down the middle of, right into an alley where these Panzers can take them out, I just don't see this being any much less than a victory for the Russian team. So 3 tanks in the middle, I'd imagine they are literally now just covering the area. I'd imagine that I personally would have literally end this right now rather than waste time and rely on points victories. There's 2 Panzer Grenadier units run into this sector and they will try and engage here, but they're going to be taken out by the sniper, which is coming to play. While this is all going on, I've missed a T-34 being absolutely destroyed, unfortunately for us. But they will now not be in an advantage, but they'll feel quite confident now, I think, and maybe think about move towards this middle section, see if they can actually stop this push. Artillery is going to hit this middle section here, do a little bit of damage. I think this Pack 40 that's been stolen. Artillery comes down, I think, maybe a smoke, or if it's the Germans, it's on artillery barrage. Panzer Grenadiers are taking some severe hits. They will have to retreat out. T-34's come into play there, and that Panzer 4 is going down, there's no way around that. This other Panzer 4 may do some serious damage against this T-34, but I think that will also go down. Panzer 4 is going to save itself here, and I don't think we're going to allow that. I think the T-34 may push forward, but it stops just in time. So, unfortunately for Stephen, he cannot get a break in this game. Was in a very commanding lead. He had 300 points on the enemy, on the Russians, on Pinky. And Pinky, through sheer volume of T-34s onto the field, which he's just brought another one, I might add, from the loss of the one he's just had, has literally taken back this game from the brink of defeat. I honestly thought the Russians didn't have enough. But with the artillery, I can honestly think... Oh, I really warned that for the cast, how bad's that? This artillery has done a decent job. I mean, it's got 1 star. Now, if it could get its 3rd star, or even its 2nd would do a little bit more damage, and the 3rd would basically increase the range of this artillery unit exponentially. If it's placed where it's placed, it could probably hit these points around here, maybe not as far as the base. So it's very, very, very useful to have if you can get it up to scratch. But if you can't see what you're shooting at, unfortunately, it's a problem. Anyway, these T-34s are going to move in slightly as smoke goes down for the Germans, as artillery comes down for the Russians. Bomb going down. The Panzer 4 comes into play, that's the 2nd one for the Germans, but the Russians have still got 5 on the field, so very little the Germans can do about it. The Germans, they lose a Panzer Grenadier squad, that's a horrible squad to lose. Their other squad, which is at 3 stars, is going to lose there, and it's also going to lose the battle, it's going to have to run away. It's been rooted right into this battle, and it may have some trouble. Mortar team's doing a decent job though. Not many kills, but he's certainly got the veterancy. And this artillery unit's also doing a very good job of really pounding the enemy. But unfortunately for the Germans, the Russians have just got too much. They've got too many numbers, and at the moment it's impossible for the Germans to win this. Impossible. So what's coming up for the Germans? The Germans have got nothing coming on the field. They've only got the infantry left and the 2 tanks. They're doing a decent job of destroying some of these T-34s. These Panzers may go down though. But actually, that was a very beautiful little play there. I completely missed it, and I apologise for missing it. But those two Panzer IVs came into the middle and took the ground. Unfortunately though, this T-34 may have something to say about that, although he's actually outmatched. He's outmatched. We do need to have the 4 there, unfortunately, but another T-34 goes down. And literally, from having 5 tanks, now the Russians only have 2 on the field. Pretty bad to see, in all honesty. They've got 1 tank up here that's doing nothing. It's literally sitting there. It must be forgotten. I think he's going to move it now, but I'm really sorry, but with 5 tanks against 2 Panzer IVs, the Panzer IVs shouldn't win that battle as the T-34 goes down, which means that now, all of a sudden, the game is completely shifted again. Unbelievable stuff. The Russians were going to lose, and then the Germans were going to lose, and now it could be very even. Both teams have 1 tank. Both teams have a small amount of infantry. The thing that stands in the way, really, for the Russians is this German artillery piece here, which can literally just pulverise an area. Now I know, unfortunately, the artillery did take out that Panzer IV that's over there, but really, I'm amazed at how well these Germans have fought back. Stephen is obviously a great player. I have seen his streams. He does stream. If you want to check out that on coh2.org, you'll be able to find his stream. I'm amazed at how well this turned out for the Germans, but they need these points. They're neutralised at the moment. They definitely need these points. There's a little bit of a battle here between the T-34 and the Panzer IV. The T-34 is taking some serious hits here, and I think the Panzer IV comes out on top of that battle. Panzer IV's got 3 points of veterancy, which means that they get an extra bit of weapon damage, and the second reduces the damage themselves. The T-34's rank 2 gets a bit more damage, slightly reduced damage taken, but I don't think it's going to be enough against that Panzer IV, which wants to move south. We have another T-34 onto the field, but 2 against 1 in a straight up field fight. You probably think about maybe the Panzer IV winning, but any more than 2, or in a situation where they can be the Panzer IV could be ambushed, you'd think it was T-34 territory. More infantry coming out for the Germans as they want to retake the points here. They want to push the points down and get an even fight here. This is a fantastic fight. Pinky and Stephen have done a really good job. Stephen, sorry, it's possibly Stephen. I might be calling you Stephen if it's Stephen. Really. Anyway, this T-34 is doing a little bit of damage against the Panzer IV, but the Panzer IV, it's got those armour skirts now, so it's taking a lot less damage than it may normally do if it was on veterans. That's not even a set of words. If it had less veterans, that's not even a set of words. Artillery's coming in here for the Russians. Straight from up. We'll do a lot of damage against the infantry, but no damage whatsoever against that Panzer. We've got a 3rd T-34 coming onto the field. The Germans haven't even got a 2nd Panzer IV on the field yet. They really need to think about doing so. I'd imagine that's what they're saving up for. Actually, no, he's got enough resources to do it now, but he's not. What Stephen was saving that money for. The heavy the armour corps now, so the heavy armour, the heavy panzer corps is not on, so he's not saving for a Panther. Interesting. Maybe he's saving for more artillery piece. It's possible. The 2 T-34s are going to start to engage this Panzer IV now, and the 3rd one is going to come and help out. T-34 might lose his battle. He might lose the battle until he does lose the battle. And this Panzer may run away. If it's not careful, it may get taken out here. But those Panzer Grenadiers may stop that from happening, and it does. And I'd say that with that amount of damage that Panzer IV's got, I have to think that this swung back in favour of the Russians. Oh no! The Panzer Grenadiers have taken out that tank fantastically well, but this T-34 is still in a really decent position here to try and engage this Panzer IV. This T-34 surely must move forward here and try and take out. It takes a side hit from the Panzer Grenadiers, it's never good. And those Panzer Grenadiers can have to fall back. But don't lose them, please, Stephen and Stefan, don't lose them. Panzer IV is now come back into engage, but I think this Panzer IV may go down here. Ouch. That was a fantastic shot by the Panzer IV there. It took nearly half of its energy off the T-34. Quite amazing. So, this game has been in and out, up and down. Once the Germans are winning, the Russians are winning, the Germans are winning, the Russians are winning, the Germans are taking the points. I mean, I'm surprised my voice has been able to handle this, because this has been a fantastic battle. Germans get this point, but the engineers with the flame upgrade are going to have something to say about it. And these rifles are taking this point here, so the rifles are going to give the Russians some more points. And Panzer IV comes into play here. That could be a very wise decision. Panzer IV is getting a repair from this repair point. They do come in useful, but only in the kind of middle stages of the game when you actually have armour on the field. T-34 76 comes back into battle. So that's 2 tanks each, one of which for the Russians is very heavily damaged, and that will need to go and get repairs. Panzer IV comes back in and engages some rifles. They will try to neutralise that point again, as the Grenadiers take some serious hits there. T-34's coming back into battle. No action from that T-34 just yet. It's not decided what it's doing, as this Panzer IV is moving up here. The Russians take the second point again. T-34 is engaging with Panzer IV, but it's not going to do that much damage just yet. They're both stock at the moment. Panzer IV is doing obviously more damage, it's got a better gun and better armour in general. This other Panzer may come down and help out, but it doesn't really need to, because Panzer IV is doing a good job of holding off that assault there by the Russians. 2 Panzer IVs now smell the blood of the T-34 and the Russians, and they will move forward. I think the Germans may have this. After all the suffering the Germans and the Russians have put themselves through, I honestly think that the Russians may have lost this game by the skin of their teeth, because the Germans have now neutralised their second point and are in the process of capturing it. They have 2 Panzer IVs on the field, one of which is heavily veteranced. I don't know the plural of that weapon, that word. And the Russians do have a second T-34 into play, but both are stock and both look like they could fail if they think about fighting against these Panzer IVs. Artillery is going to drop into a location where you would be silly to try and walk through. And this could be over for the Russians. It could be over. The T-34s, in all honesty, need to start moving out right now and taking at least one of these stars, because literally in the next, I'd say, minute or so, they will have lost this game. They will have lost this game. So these tanks are going to move into the middle, and the infantry are going to move up. The Grenadiers are going to suffer from cold. they do. But I do think this is over for the Russians. Unless these T-34s can move up right now and neutralise one of these stars. Which I don't think they're going to be able to do. They're massing in the middle here and they're going to push. They're going to push anyway. And they are going to push. But the Panzer IVs are going to come in here and put them onto this side. And artillery, I'd imagine, is going to start hitting this central area and they're going to start to take out some of this infantry. And grenadiers are going to hit the T-34s on the side of the Panzer IVs to do some damage. The HMG goes down and the grenadiers will retreat. The two Panzer IVs have not engaged at all, and they will need to come around. They need to come around and help out, otherwise they will neutralise, the Russians will neutralise the sector. But the artillery going down is amazing. It's just an amazing sight to see. Mortars, and they've even dropped the sector artillery, which is absolutely covering, and the Russians have given up. They've decided that they know it's over. And in all honesty, I think that was one of the best matches I've ever seen play on this game. Right, I'm going to have some trouble trying to analyse this, to be honest. To begin with, the Russians had a torrid time of getting through the German lines. The Germans took 2 of the stars and really pushed the Russians down, literally right down to the bottom. Like they were less than 200 points. But about halfway through, the Russians started to bring in the tanks. And when they started to bring in the tanks, they were able to take more and more of the points, they were able to take more and more of the area, and get more and more resources so they could bring more tanks out. And eventually they got enough tanks to push the Germans back, no matter what the Germans had, which at the time was unfortunate for Stephen. I don't know if you're called Stephen or Stephen, but unfortunately the Pak 40s weren't good enough, and the Panzer Schrecks from the Panzer Grenadiers weren't good enough to force. But as soon as the Panzer IVs came on for Stephen, then the tide started to turn, and the use of those tanks, manoeuvring around the flanks and taking out one after one, the T-34s, really in the end gave the victory to the Germans. It was really close, and I really loved every second of this video. So I hope you did too. Remember, you can go and visit these replays and get them for yourselves on coh2.org. Please go and comment on there, or comment on this video about how you enjoyed this video, and if there are any feedback you can give me about my casting or about my analysis, then please let me know. Also, if I've made any mistakes, I would love them to be pointed out at me. That's what I'd like. I like criticism because it makes me improve. So please let me know in the comments below. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. See you next time.